Previously on the Ashtray.
Last semester we did the smoking protest, and we told the president, hey, we understand things get out of hand and it's our fault, but we tried to work and maybe find common ground, but it didn't seem to go anywhere. So
when you look at the gazebo, yeah, it's just a structure of wood, but inside of that there are memories that people have of times where they were supported by others, or times where they helped somebody else out, or times where they just had fun. And so those are the places, and that is, for me, that's a place where I will look back on in 50 years and have my fondest memories of Berea College.
I think initially my first reaction was kind of anger. I didn't really understand why the administration would look at a group of adults who have willingly came here, knowing the demographic that the college serves has been affected by the big tobacco industry. I thought that it was a little selfish and reckless of them to just ask all of their students to quit with virtually no warning. It was here's a survey and now you have to quit by July.
This is The Ashtray, a series dedicated to covering the debate surrounding the smoking and tobacco policy passed at Berea College in 2018. Berea College is one of the last institutions in the state of Kentucky that allows smoking and tobacco usage on campus, but that will soon change, as Berea begins transitioning to a smoke-free and tobacco-free campus come July. The policy has polarized groups on campus and sparked controversy, quickly becoming one of the hottest topics in the Berea community. This is the final installment in a 6-part series covering the smoking and tobacco policy on campus. I'm your host, Christian Gensel, joined today by junior English major Elijah Nicholson Mesmer.
In this episode, we'll be looking at the ways in which the campus community is preparing itself for Berea College's tobacco-free future.
As we close out this academic year, we grow closer and closer to the inevitability of July 1st, 2019, the day that Berea College enacts its new tobacco usage policy across campus. The reactions of the campus community have ranged from joy to ambivalence to outright disgust. But no matter what, this change is going to happen. Students and faculty are going to have to deal with the repercussions of Berea College's decision. On the Ashtray, you've heard criticisms.
You're asking people to not do something that is a legal activity. So I think that's all well-intentioned, but I don't think it's going to work.
You've heard optimistic hopes.
So we know it's a slow process, but is it worth the slow fight? I believe so.
And you've heard concerns.
The administration can say what will and will not happen on campus. So if they want to ban smoking, great. What are the repercussions of that?
With changes to the tobacco usage policy going into effect this summer, members of the Berea College administration recognize that this transition to a tobacco-free campus will be difficult for some students. Jill Gerdotowski is the Director of Health and Wellness here at Berea College, and she has been working closely with the policy to ensure that it will be effective.
The key is that we want people to comply with the policy, and we want to help them comply with the policy. We don't want to discipline people with that. So, probably in the first, couple offenses, it's just, we're just making notation of it. And then, the second one, a letter would go out to the individual violating the policy. And then it might go to their student life team member, it could go to their supervisor, and then eventually as things get worse, the J board might be involved for students, as well as, HR with progressive discipline, for the employees. But it's hard to write out a step-by-step what happens, because then it takes away the individual, like working with the individual. Because you can have a person who's trying to be successful and really is successful, and then maybe they had a third violation, they had their meeting, they set up a success plan, and then, 4 months later, their next violation. Well, somebody who's really trying, we're going to work with them differently than somebody who's having 5 violations, 1 week in a row, who's not even trying to comply with the policy.
Students and faculty at Berea College have raised concerns in regards to how this new tobacco policy will be enforced. After all, Berea College has allowed tobacco usage since World War II, and this will affect members of the college. President Lyle Roloffs understands that this matter must be handled with care.
None of our many rules are enforced with the kind of draconian intensity that some people think would be part of having a no smoking campus. The sense that many people had that on July 1st we have to have some kind of really robust policy in place for enforcement never made any sense to me. The no smoking policy is an expectation. Most people will do their best to live up to the expectations. Those who don't, after 2 or 3 violations, will have to start to experience some sanctions, and that's the plan.
Many tobacco users at Berea come from environments that are hotbeds for smoking and tobacco usage. Throughout our series, we've brought up how Berea College actively recruits from these areas.
So I think a lot of my experience with smoking and my history of doing so is similar to those who have grew up in Appalachia. You know, big tobacco and things like that are similar, or very prominent in this area, and I've personally been smoking in some way since I was 13 years old, whether that be just trying to find cigarettes from an empty pack or wherever that they may have been hidden around my house with the family who I have that do smoke. That's been my experience, and I think that's what a lot of other students here have experienced as well.
Junior class president-elect Chase Denny is a smoker. He comes from an area in Appalachia where smoking is commonplace. He may not be a fan of how Berea College implemented changes to its tobacco policy, but he also recognizes its purpose and wants to help his fellow classmates.
It's like, we're still gonna smoke, like, just because there's a ban, if they're not gonna be enforcing it, like, if there was some sort of, like, punishment for smoking or citation or you have to pay a fine, then yeah, I'd probably be like, okay, I'm not gonna, I'll walk off campus. But since that really doesn't seem to be the case, if someone asks me to put a cigarette out, I absolutely will. If they ask me not to vape, I will be respectful of other people's spaces, but like, yeah, no, I'm gonna keep doing what I'm doing.
That's Magenta Palo, a student here at Berea. Although she's losing the place where she vapes, she's looking forward to what will replace the gazebos.
Actually, I think that's a good idea to maintain the kind of bonding experience and like a place to go between classes, you know, finish paper. It's a really nice day out like today. Like today would be a great day to hang out in a gazebo, even if you're not smoking cigarettes. Like there's a ton of people that don't smoke cigarettes that hang out in gazebos. So I think that's a good solution actually. I'll just step outside of the new gazebo and hit my vape. Like,
I think it's important to note that being angry is not the solution. Just being grumpy and huffing and puffing and saying, well, I'm going to smoke anyway, that's not how change occurs. That's not how you're going to get your most positive outcome from the situation. The way to get that done is to talk to people like myself, talk to other SGA representatives, or just take the initiative and talk to the administration yourself. Make your voice heard in a productive way, and I will continue to do my same on behalf of those that I represent.
Thank you for watching and listening to The Ashtray, a series dedicated to covering the debates surrounding the smoking and tobacco policy passed at Berea College in 2018. The Ashtray has been a Code 2319 production. This episode was produced by Caleb Bannister, directed by Jacob Stenson, and written by the executive producer of The Ashtray, Christian Gensel. Editing for this episode was done by Elijah Nicholson-Mesmer. To see the entirety of The Ashtray, like and follow Berea College News and Radio on Facebook.
I don't think that my opinion is more valid than your opinion, or vice versa. I think we should look at the community as a whole. I think that on this campus we have the tendency to parent students, and I'm not so sure that that is an effective way to go about things. You all are legal adults. There are rules that we must abide by. I just think that there might be better options to this than just creating a policy that cannot be enforced.